GED Prep. Let's start by looking at social studies. You've just done your social studies pretest, and so it's time to start the content, the learning content. So let's talk about that. Quickly though, we'll look back at your social studies pretest. Let's flip to that, because that's where you're going to want to start before you start any of the units in the course, is look at the pretest. So here's one of the questions right out of that pretest. So what you can do is check page 720 in your GED textbook for the answers. So you want to look at the explanations for these questions. And that's really the best way to be studying, especially in GED. You're prepping for basically a multiple choice test, and you need to do lots of multiple choice tests and then also look at the explanations for the answers. And that's what the GED book is. That's your main study tool. Let's take a quick look. So yeah, right here, right around page 25 in your GED book, whoops, there it is, you're going to find the pretest. If you flip to page 720, you can get all the explanations for each of the questions. Now, I did that really quickly, but you're going to want to take some time and review your social studies pretest first before you begin the social studies section. Again, using your paper book in the back, right around page 720, you can find the explanation for each answer. Now, right now, it's good activity. Just pause the screen and actually read this passage, take a look at the cartoon, and then read the question and consider, what is the best answer here? So take a moment, hit pause. All right, you've read it through. You've decided on your answer. Let's look at an explanation for why the right answer is D. So right here, this question, you can notice that there's an analysis here. So once again, just hit pause and read through that. But ultimately, what you're going to see is that therefore the best answer is indeed D, to promote world peace. These other answers really, really aren't that focused and really don't provide the answer to the question. Again, take your time and look at the specific question. Use the video right here. Read the passage, read the question, then take a look at this explanation. You'll also notice that there's an explanation in the back of the book, right at page 720, specifically for the social studies, so that you can make sure that you understand the questions you missed in the social studies pretest. All right, so your review of the pretest is done. It's time to jump right into the social studies section of the course. Again, when you finish any quiz in the course, there's always a recommendation about what to do next. And essentially, you want to jump. This one's talking about the science area, but ultimately it's saying to you, hey, once you finish the social studies pretest, jump in the social studies content. That content is the GED book, blue GED book. That's where your learning content is. I'm just going to flip the screen here so you can see it. This is what you're going to be using to make sure that you're understanding the key concepts. The beauty of this too, with the GED, is that indeed that content is highly summarized. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, so with the social studies, your content is on page 200, and ultimately, as you review this content, you're going to want to read. You're going to want to reread it and take notes in a notebook on key concepts and ideas. You notice that this is highly summarized information, and that's key. You really just want to be spending, the course, you've got to get it done in 12 weeks. So we're not going to be giving you tons and tons of reading. The main thing we're going to be giving you is lots and lots of multiple choice practice. But indeed, start with just some reading of the content in the book. Do at least, 30 minutes, and you'll notice that as you go from page 200 and say to go to about page 205, there's several lessons in there with multiple choice tests. So do all of that, take some notes, take some break, then take a break after about 30 minutes. The ideal break is actually just to get out for a quick brisk walk. In fact, also if you have time before you walk, do a quick protein snack. When you're learning, your brain needs protein. So cook an egg real quick, have some nuts, have a piece of cooked salmon, some beef jerky, even just some good high protein Greek yogurt would really help. It'll help your brain. Your brain, especially when we're studying and learning, needs to be fed. So after your break, review some of your written notes and basically think over some of the key concepts And it's actually best to write some of the stuff just on a blank page, but then go back to the book and retry rereading the content, but also retry some of those questions that you just did. You will notice as well that those answers for all the questions in the social studies content are in the back of the book. It'll tell you the exact page to go and review those answers. So it's all there for you. All right, so you've done a little prep work with the social studies content, and it's time to start that first quiz inside of social studies. It's called the Literal Reading Quiz. And yeah, what you're going to notice is the course is full of quizzes. And again, that's really, really critical, practicing and doing multiple choice test questions. So your goal is to get 60% or more to move on. If you don't, just keep trying the quiz over and over. You want to practice. That's really, really your goal in this course, is to practice as many multiple choice test questions as possible. The beauty of the online course is it'll mark it immediately and it'll tell you what the right answer is. All learners who've done this course and went on to pass their GED did many of the quizzes and multiple times, 5 times. Sometimes I've seen it up to 15 times, and that really, really helps. And you're going to see that. So here's an example of a question that you might get on that first quiz in the social studies. You're going to want to notice how GED questions always have the answer to the question in the passage. And you've already seen that with the pretest. And when you looked at that analysis carefully, you noticed, yeah, that's clear. That answer was right there. The GED, and especially the social, and in fact the science as well, and of course the reading, are reading puzzles. And your brain is really going to start to love to do these reading puzzles. Once you get into it, once you're sitting down, taking some quiet time, doing studying with the paper book, and then hopping online, you're just going to love this stuff. So let's take a look at one of the questions. Again, what you're going to want to do right now is just pause, read the passage, read the question, consider what's the best answer. Look for each of these answers to either be in the passage, or some of these probably aren't even in the passage or mentioned at all. So that's what you're looking for carefully here. So take a look, pause the screen. Okay, you've read the question. Make sure to consider your answer. Let's take a look at an analysis of this answer. Ultimately, the best answer is D. You'll notice that these other ones aren't even mentioned in the passage. You're going to start to notice this with the GED, is that essentially you're there's a lot of answers given that you're going to start to see are kind of ridiculous, actually. And ultimately, you can often kind of narrow it down to a couple. And at that point, we're talking 50-50 chance of getting the question right. Okay, that's a quick overview. Hop in to first review your pretest. Use the back of the GED book, page 720, to review questions you missed in the social studies pretest. Then head into the book, page 200, review the content, go for about 5 lessons, and then hop in and do this first quiz. Again, if you got any questions, just shoot me an email. Okay, take care, GED, and you have an excellent, excellent day. Bye-bye.